Hi everyone, I'm David Kelly, Program Director for the eLearning Guild. I apologize for the slight technical difficulty that we had with the Hangout. The original link that was on the Hangouts page was not working the way it should be, so we're sending out a new link that people are just accessing, and I see some people are already in now. Just going to give it another minute or so to make sure that people are able to get on properly, and I also just want to bring up the other event to make sure that if I see any comments come in while we're chatting here, that we can see that this is online. And I'm just going to post this comment. So welcome. I thank you for joining me to talk about Devlearn. This is a very informal Google Hangout. So if you have any questions or anything, we're using the Q&A app within Google Hangouts, and we're also using a comment. So if you could access that app, you could submit your comments there. You could also post them as a comment to the thread of the event page. I'll be checking that as well. But your comments are what we're going to be looking towards during this entire presentation. We're scheduled to have it for about an hour. It'll probably be less than that, depending on how many questions we have. I'll stay here as long as we want to ask the questions about Devlearn. But I'm going to talk to you about a number of different things. I'll share some information with you about the event. We'll look at the conference app to show you how that's useful and how you can use that to get a lot more out of your Devlearn experience. But that's what this is all about, to find out more about the conference and share some tips on how you can get more out of the conference. So I welcome any comments that you have throughout while I'm going through the discussion. Again, I'll be looking at the Q&A. We won't have Q&A at the bottom. If you have a question at any point, type it in. Type it into the comments on the site. I'll check that as well, and we'll address them as they come through. So with that, let me share with you some information about Devlearn. Go to that. All right, so we're here to look at some of the stuff for Devlearn. First thing I'd like to talk about is just the event in general and some of the stuff that you can expect to be going on. The event is brought to you by the eLearning Guild. You can learn more about us at eLearningGuild.com, but the eLearning Guild does a lot more than just Devlearn. We do a number of conferences a year. We do Learning Solutions Conference and Expo. We do Ecosystem 2015, 2015, excuse me, coming up next year. We do mLearnCon, and we do the Performance Support Symposium. But our live events are just one piece of the eLearning Guild complement of resources. We do research throughout the year. We have Learning Solutions Magazine, which we publish numerous articles throughout the year. We have the Twist blog. We have online events as well. But if you want to get more details about the host of Devlearn, eLearningGuild.com is where you can go for those details. Our agenda for today, as I said, is pretty loose. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the events, talk to you about the event app, and give you some tips that are going to be going on throughout give you some tips that can help you get more out of the conference. So Devlearn itself takes place October 29th through the 31st, with pre-cons taking place on the 27th and 28th, and the Adobe Learning Summit taking place on the 27th as well. Lots of great events going on. Devlearn is the leading conference in the industry for people who are using technology for learning and performance. So at the conference this year, we got a number of different elements, and I want to take a moment to share with you all the different stuff that's going on at Devlearn. First off, before the conference even begins, we're going to have a deep dive into the Experience API at xAPI Hyperdrive. xAPI Hyperdrive is an event that we're having Tuesday afternoon before the conference begins, and it's going to be and it's a competition. We have organizations and individuals bringing their xAPI projects to Las Vegas and joining a competition where they have a 10-minute window to deliver an elevator pitch that shares how they're going to be using the Experience API to innovate learning and performance programs. The competition is open for anyone to attend and see these presentations. It starts at 3:30 on Tuesday afternoon and goes until about 6:30. You can come and go as you'd like, see as many or as few or as many of the sessions as you like, and they'll all be great examples of how the Experience API is being used to innovate learning and performance. We also have the xAPI in Practice. xAPI in Practice is a track that's going to be going on at Devlearn this year. It's going to be consistent throughout the entire event, and it will be there's going to be sessions going on at all times while the conference is going on, 2 or 3 sessions at any given point, all showing examples of the Experience API in practice, how it's being used, and how you can use it within your organization to innovate your learning and performance programs. So there's going to be a number of great sessions attached to it for the Experience API, and you definitely want to check that out, make sure that you have all the details that you need to think about using Experience API in your organization. Let me just make sure that we have no more additional comments from people looking to get in here, since we had that issue with the link. And I'm just going to repost it here. All right, so let's go back to the next thing. Now, that was something that's going on before the conference even begins. Let's look at what's coming on after the conference, once the conference begins, excuse me. So let's talk about the tent poles of our conference this year. We're looking at the Devlearn Conference and Expo, and we're looking at our keynotes. Devlearn is highlighted by 3 amazing keynotes that are going to form the tent poles of the entire conference. We have Neil deGrasse Tyson as our headline keynote, kicking off the conference Wednesday morning. He's going to be talking about STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and why they are so important to the future education, the future of work, and the future of our workplaces. So it's going to be a fascinating way to kick off the conference. On Thursday morning, we have Bo Lotto, who is going to be talking about imagination and how imagination and our minds shape our experiences and how we can affect learning by understanding how imagination affects the brain. And on the last day of the conference, we're going to have Belinda Palmer of Little Miss Geek, who's going to be exploring technology through a new lens and looking at technology in a ways that are different than how society functions and how society forces us in a way to look at technology. We'll be looking at it a little differently, and how that new viewpoint can expand how we look at learning and performance. So these 3 keynotes are going to form a tremendous tentpole from which we can build on the entire Devlearn experience. We're also featuring a number of different sessions during the conference that we're featuring. We have a number of industry leaders who are going to be sharing important messages that are going to be for our industry. We have Alison Rossett exploring how technology is changing the future of education, and Derry Berry, who's going to be looking at badges and how these can be used to represent competencies and credentials, and how that's going to affect the future of learning. We have Carl Kapp examining how to match up the right type of content with the right learning strategy. We have Mark Rosenberg and Steve Foreman, who are looking at learning ecosystems and how they represent a holistic approach to learning and performance. We have Sarah Gilbert, Robert Gadd, Chad Udell, and Clark Quinn, who are going to be in a panel that I'll be moderating, exploring why mobile technology is so critical to the future of learning and performance. And finally, we have Tom Coleman, who's going to be looking at community and how a vibrant community can form an amazing aspect of your training programs. So 6 really great sessions with industry leaders exploring important topics to our industry. I also want you to be aware of the bring your own laptop sessions that we'll have going on at Devlearn. You'll see these notated by BYOL and an icon looking like this. And what the bring your own laptop sessions enable you to do is take your laptop to the session with the software that's going to be discussed. And you'll be able to follow along with the instructor, so that the instructor, as the instructor is talking about a particular task using a tool, you can replicate it and start building the skills that you need back in your organization while you're still at the conference. It's a great hands-on learning opportunity. I encourage you to look at a number of those different sessions and consider adding some of them to your agenda while you're at Devlearn. Also want to make sure you're aware of DemoFest. DemoFest is a highlight of every Devlearn experience. We have over 80 different projects that people are bringing from their organizations to showcase them at Devlearn. When you get to DemoFest, you'll enter a large room with a number of tables throughout the space, and each table is going to have one of those demos on display. You'll have the opportunity to meet with different people, to see these projects in action, and more importantly, to have the opportunity to talk to the designers and the developers, find out why they made the choices they did, what goals they were looking to accomplish, what barriers they encountered along the way, and how learning from that can help you get more out of the program as well. It's also a great place, a great place to meet and connect with other Devlearn attendees. It's a very informal atmosphere, and it's a great way to connect with people that are going to become part of your learning network for days and weeks and years to come. If you're new to Devlearn this year, one of the things I highly recommend you check out is the docent program. The docent program is new to Devlearn this year. Docents are something that you normally find at a museum. where we have people who know the exhibits and know the stories behind the exhibits and give you a guided experience throughout the conference. We're pleased to have 3 docents at Devlearn this year that we've adapted this docent program for. We've got Neil Lasher, Stevie Rocco, and Karen Hyder, each of whom are not only experts in the industry, but they are people who know about conferences and know how to navigate conferences. So we've set up a guided experience through Devlearn that's got a path based on 3 different tracks that you might want to participate in. It's got a number of unique programming elements, like the ability to have lunch with some of the experts in our industry. There's some unique aspects to the docent program that you definitely want to check out. There will be a flyer in your Devlearn materials when you check in at registration that will give you all the details about the docent program. And you can, again, you can participate in as much or as little of the docent program as you like, but it's a great resource, especially if you're new to the conference or traveling alone and looking for people to connect with. Also new to Devlearn this year is the Hub. The Hub is a central meeting place that we've set up where you can go and recharge both yourself by just taking a break for a moment. There'll be some comfortable seating spaces in there, and also your devices. We've got a number of recharging stations to charge your devices during the conference. It's also where you'll find our swag shop. We have a lot of great different Devlearn merchandise that you can get, and you can get that 2 ways. One is you can just purchase it outright if you wanted to, but more applicable is you can get them by redeeming points that you earn through the app. The app has a robust social component there, and I'll demo the app for you in just a little bit. And the points that you generate by using the app, you can redeem those points for these Devlearn merchandise items as well. So the swag shop to get that merchandise is going to be in the Hub. The Hub is also where you'll find our conference bookstore. The bookstore is going to be where you will find all sorts of things from all sorts of books from our keynote speakers and other speakers at the conference and industry leaders as well. It's also where our book signings will be. If you're going to be looking to get a book signed by Neil deGrasse Tyson, I do encourage you to purchase the book from the bookstore before his opening keynote. The bookstore will be open as Dr. Tyson has a limited window of time available for the book signing, and you'll be able to just get right online after the keynote rather than having to wait to purchase a book. So if you're going to be looking to get a book signed by Dr. Tyson, I definitely recommend buying the book before the keynote so that you can get right online and get a better chance of having the opportunity to have Dr. Tyson sign it. The Hub is also where you'll find our member services booth, where you can learn how to get more out of your eLearning Guild membership, all the different resources that I mentioned earlier, and find out how you can participate in the community more and get more value from the eLearning Guild membership that you have. So the Hub is new to Devlearn this year. I encourage you to check it out and see some of the stuff that's in there. Devlearn also highlights the largest exposition hall in North America dedicated to companies that are using technology to enhance learning and performance programs. We've got over 110 different vendors this year, and I encourage you to take some time out of your schedule to visit the Expo and speak to some of these vendors and find out how their products, services, and solutions might help your organization's learning and performance strategy. Whether you use the vendor or not, having those conversations can help you contextualize what you're doing in your organization, and it's a great learning opportunity. The Expo Hall is going to be open on Wednesday from 9:30 till 6:30 and Thursday from 9:30 till 3. While you're in the Expo Hall, be sure to check out our learning stages. We have 3 different learning stages taking place in the Expo Hall, each of which will have 11 different sessions taking place on them. Great sessions, a lot of wonderful learning. Each session is going to be, each of those stages is going to explore a particular topic. We have a stage dedicated to emerging technologies, a stage dedicated to e-learning tools, and a stage exploring management issues called the Management Exchange stage. So it's a great opportunity to get some additional learning, and all the details of these sessions taking place on these stages will be on the conference app. I want to talk a little bit about the facility itself, but before I do that, let me just check and make sure that we've got no questions in the Q&A section here. So let me exit out of here and make sure that everyone is online and such. Again, if you joined us late, we are using the Q&A portion of the Google Hangouts to submit questions and such. So if you have a question, you can submit it via the Q&A. And I'm just checking to make sure the original link, that there's nobody who's trying to get in there and can't, which seems like we are good. And check the original page for questions. So if you're not familiar with how to get to the Q&A app, by the way, all you have to do is scroll to the left-hand side of your screen, and you'll see a number of icons pop out. and they are, one of them will say actually Q&A. You click on that, and on the right-hand side of your screen, it will open up the Q&A panel where you can submit questions, and I'll see them pop up on my screen to know that you've submitted it. So just so you're aware that that's there, make sure that we've got that for other people as well. So the space at Devlearn. Let me show you a little bit about the space that's going to be going on at Devlearn. So I will bring us back to that. And there. So this is the conference space that's going to be used at Devlearn. This is where we're going to be in the Bellagio. It's all the rooms that we're going to be using are centrally located. They're extremely convenient, and this is the entire space that we're going to be using. All the rooms very close to one another. It should be very convenient for everyone to stay in there. A couple of things I do want you to be aware of: where the rooms are and what's taking place in each room to help you better navigate it. The first thing that's important to realize is what's going on, where you're coming from to access this space. The Bellagio Hotel has 2 towers of rooms. So if you're staying at the Bellagio, how you access the conference space and what side of this map that you'll be coming in on is going to vary. If you get a room that's in the spa tower of the Bellagio, you'll be accessing the conference space from the left-hand side of this map. That square that just came up on your screen. There's also a tower called the Bellagio Tower. If you're coming to the conference space from your room at the Bellagio Tower, you'll be accessing the conference space from the hallway highlighted on the right-hand side of your screen. So just bear that in mind as you get your bearings when you get to the conference, that depending on which tower you're coming in, you'll be accessing the conference space from a different side. Regardless of which side you come on, the first thing you're going to do when you get to the conference is you're going to want to go to registration to get your conference materials, to get your badge. You're going to need your badge. You're going to need to be wearing your badge anytime you're coming into the conference space and going into different sessions. So first place you want to go is registration. That's going to be available just outside of the Bellagio hallway and near our general session room that you see highlighted on your screen there. So that should be your first stop when you get to Devlearn. I want to talk about some of the different rooms that are available at Devlearn. First off, I want to look at the Bellagio Ballroom. That's where our general sessions are going to take place, where our keynotes kicking off Wednesday with Neil deGrasse Tyson, Thursday with Bo Lotto, and closing the conference Friday afternoon with Belinda Palmer. All 3 keynotes will be taking place in the Bellagio Ballroom. The Bellagio Ballroom is also where we're going to have eLearning Demo Fest, which is taking place Thursday afternoon and evening, starting at 4 p.m. That's where that's going to be. So the general sessions and the Demo Fest, both in the Bellagio Ballroom. The next space I want to look at is the Grand Ballroom, right in the center of your screen. That's where our Expo Hall is going to be. It's where you can that's where you can go to see all those different vendors that we talked about earlier, and also where the 3 learning stages, your management exchange stage, emerging tech stage, and the e-learning tools stage are. So when you're looking at the different sessions that are going on, be sure to check out the location of where they are. If it says that it's part of a stage, the stages are part of the Expo Hall. So that's where you're going to go to find those sessions taking place. And as I mentioned, we got those 3 different stages. Next thing I want you to be aware of are the concurrent sessions. We have over 120 different concurrent sessions going on over the 3 days, and they're going to be taking place in the rooms that are located on both sides, the left side and the right-hand side of the map. They'll be in the Tower Ballrooms area on the left, the rooms by the Renaissance Foyer in the bottom left-hand corner, and also right near registration, we've got the Monet rooms, the Gauguin, and the other artist rooms in the upper right-hand corner. That's where your concurrent sessions are going to be. So if you're going to be going to a concurrent session at any point, it's on one side or the other of the Expo Hall and the general session rooms. The last thing I want you to be aware of within the conference space is the hub. I mentioned the hub earlier. That's where you'll be able to recharge devices, connect with member services, get merchandise from the swag shop and the bookstore. The hub is right centrally located just outside the general session room, and it'll be open throughout the entire conference space. All the details of everything that we've got going on in terms of navigating the space will be available in the conference app. You've got 2 primary resources available to you that you can use to navigate your way through the conference. The first is the Quick Guide, which is new to Devlearn this year. It is a cardstock card that you're going to get with you at registration. That's just, you open it up and it has the full schedule of events that's going on, as well as critical details that you're going to use to navigate the conference. That's your paper-based option, but all the details of everything that you could possibly need and more will be available via the conference app. If you haven't already done so, I suggest you download the conference app. It is publicly available on the App Store, the Google Play Store, and as a web app. So why don't we take a moment to, before we talk about the handouts, let's take a look at that conference app since I brought it up. So I am going to exit from our slides here, and let me take a look at the conference app. So let's bring this up for a moment. Let's bring up the app so we can display it live, which should come up in a second. Ideally, that would work. My apologies for the delay. I'm having a technical difficulty getting the app to display in the Hangout. I'm going to just reset the software that I'm using to do that. Give me just 1 second, guys. I apologize for the delay on that. You get to watch me stare awkwardly at the screen for a moment, so I apologize for that. While that is just rebooting, I'm just going to also check to make sure that we've got no additional questions coming through the Hangout. I don't see any there or on the page here. There we go. I think we should be okay showing the screen now. Okay, so at this point, you should be seeing the home screen of the app. And what we're looking at here is an iPhone, but the functionality that I'm going to show you within the app is consistent whether you're using an Android device, an iPad, or the web app. So everything that we're going to be looking at real quick is going to be part of that. So let me launch the app. And by default, when you first get to the app, it's going to leave you with the activity feed. Now, the first time you do launch the app, it will ask you to log in. You're going to need to log in using the email address that you used to register for the conference. And then we'll ask you for a password, which is the word Devlearn in all lowercase letters. As long as you have the app, as long as you don't physically close the app, you won't need to log in. You'll just log in once, and every time that you launch it, like you saw here, it will just bring you into the app. And by default, you're going to get to this screen, which is just the social feed of the app, showing all the different things that people are sharing. This app has a very robust social feed that I encourage you to take advantage of. It's a great way to connect with individuals and share what you're learning with other individuals, ask questions, and connect with people. If you want to get to the main menu of the app, I'll give you a quick exploration of all the different functionality. But all you have to do is either press on the 3 menu bar option in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, or you could just swipe right across your device, and it will bring up the activity, all the different options that are there. The 4 primary functions of this app are right at the top: your activity feed, your agenda, your speakers, and your attendees. So the activity feed is just what we saw, which is giving you the option to view the social feed of what people are sharing. The agenda is what you would expect. It's going to show you all of the different things that are going on at the conference, starting with the current date or the first date of the conference. And what I'm doing here is just scrolling through different things, and you can scroll through all the different sessions that are taking place. And if you wanted to get the details about any one of them, you just select it from the list. It'll give you who's the speaker, when it's taking place, a description of the session. And you'll see at the bottom, you have the option to add that to your agenda. If you do that, it just automatically adds it to your agenda. I'm going to go back. And you'll see from the agenda standpoint, you have the option at the top by default to look at everything that's on the agenda. If I click on my agenda right next to that, it'll show just the things that I have added to my personal agenda. So it's very easy to set up your own agenda and to get details about the sessions that are going on. If you want to learn about the different speakers that are going to be at the conference, choose the speakers option, and you'll see all the different people who are speaking at the conference. And if you go to any particular one of them, and choose them from the list. You can get their bio information and find out what sessions they'll be speaking at the conference, at which point you can then go in and get the details of that as well. Also, the next one on the list is attendees. If you want to connect with someone who's an attendee at the conference, all the attendees of the conference will be listed in the app. There is no personal information attached in here. You're just seeing the person's information within the app. But if I click on any particular person, let me go and I'll find my profile as an example. You don't see any contact information for that individual. You don't have the option to, you can see their social feed and what they've put into the app, but you don't have your email addresses and such are not shared in here. What is available through the app is private messaging if you wanted to. And I'll show you that in just a moment. If I go, like right now, I'm looking at my profile, and if I wanted to go in and edit my profile, there's an option in here that you'll see. Oh, I'm looking at this as a public link. Sorry, let me go back to my settings. If I go into my personal profile, which is you can access by clicking your profile in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. If I go in here to edit my particular profile, you see I can put in my name, my company, and connect myself to show my Twitter profile, Facebook on there, but you have to turn those manually on. So if I don't enter my company or title or anything in there, it's not publicly available. You would need to manually enter that to share it with people through the app. So also through the app, I'm going to look at the activity feed in just a second to show you how to add activity to the feed. I'm seeing some questions coming through about the package file invalid. We'll look into that, Roger. I'm just looking at some of the questions that have come through. Oh, Roger, I see it loaded after the third time, so thank you for that. The activity question that came, one of the questions coming through, is the activity feed from Twitter, Google+, Facebook, etc.? It's a great question. The activity feed that you're looking at within the app is just within the app. It's local to the app, so it's not something that is going publicly available. It's only available to people who are accessing the app. However, you do have the option when you post something. So if I'm going to post an update to the app, I have the ability to turn it on within Twitter, Facebook, and/or LinkedIn, so that in addition to posting it locally within the app, I'm sharing it globally and publicly through these services as well. And I'm going to show you that, Jessica, so you'll see that in just a moment. And I suppose, is the app available in the App Store? It definitely is. You should be searching for Devlearn in the App Store. And if you're having trouble locating it, if you go to our the Devlearn 14 website, there's an option there for the mobile app, and it'll have links that you can use directly there. So if you go to your mobile browser and choose the link from that web page, it'll take you directly to it where you can download it. Oh, I see Carrie got that. Great. Okay, so other things that you can look at within the app, and I will show you the details of posting it up in just a second. You can get details about our sponsors. We've got a link for the premium sponsors and all of our other sponsors as well. If you want to get details about any of those organizations, you can just choose it from the list, and you'll get details about what they do. And you can, one of the things that's nice about the app, you see at the bottom, you can do add to bookmarks. Anything that's in the app, if you wanted to bookmark it for later use and kind of just bookmark things for your own private referencing, just tap add to bookmarks and you'll have that accessible through your profile for your different bookmarks that you set. The exhibitors within our Expo hall, you can get details about each of them. It's not currently located, at least I don't think it's there. No, it's not there yet, but we're going to be loading it, I think, later on today or tomorrow, that the maps of the facilities will be available in the app. If you want to get details about the various food options that are available locally to the hotel, we've got details about that in the app. If you wanted to look at just the photos that have been posted to the app, you choose that, and you'll be essentially looking at the same activity feed, things that people have shared in the app, but this time you're only looking at the photos that have been shared. I mentioned the bookmarks that are there. If anything that you bookmark, whether it be a session, a vendor, a speaker, or what have you, are all going to be available privately for you in your bookmarks, and that's just locally for you. Just going through and making sure I see some questions popping up, but some of them are just responses, which is fine. Leaderboard. I mentioned that there's some gaming elements that are in here. The leaderboard is where you stand, how many points that you've generated. Keeping in mind, for those of you that are might be using the app early, we are going to be resetting the leaderboard before the conference begins to give everyone a fair shot of getting on the leaderboard so that no one is piling up too many points like, say, that guy, David Kelly, #2 on the list. We'll be resetting all the points to make sure that everyone's starting from the same place once the conference begins. Back up. Next up on the list, eLearning Demo Fest. I mentioned eLearning Demo Fest taking place Thursday evening. One of the highlights, if you want to, as you're walking around, if you want to get details about any of the particular projects, you just click on it, and you'll see what they use to do it, some details about what it is that the project is that you're looking at. One of the things I want to point out about Demo Fest is that we do have voting for the best projects that are going on at Demo Fest. We've got a number of different rewards that we'll be giving out that night. And we ask people as they're going around if there's a project that you really like that you want to cast a vote for and say this is one of the best projects going on at Demo Fest, to vote for it. And the way that you'll do that is straight through this conference app. You'll start from the beginning and you'll be in Demo Fest. And as you're going around, the tables will be in order. So let's say I'm walking around and I'm looking at a particular table and I think that it's really good and I want to cast a vote for it. You can vote for as many tables as you want. But if I want to vote for a particular table, I would go into it. And you'll see at the bottom there's an option there for surveys. Click on survey, and the survey that's available is to vote for the Demo Fest project. You choose start survey at the bottom. Do you want to cast a vote for this demo? You're going to say yes. And then when you get to the next question, that's it. So it's just that easy to submit your vote while you're at Demo Fest. And you would want to submit a vote for any project that you want to submit a vote for. So anytime you want to vote for a particular project, just go into it, find it in the Demo Fest listing, go in and just complete that survey. Also on the list, we have searching through the app, and if you wanted to log out of the app for any reason, I mentioned that it keeps you logged in. If you want to log out of the app, you would go into that option at the bottom to log out, at which point the next time you log it, it will remind you, it will go into, it will prompt you to log in. So let me check what else we have here. No other questions. Give me 1 second to just check where we're at on the other screen, just to make sure that no one else is needing assistance, posting comments or anything, that they can't get into the Q&A. I just saw Roger asking a question about how many times can be voted. If you've been to Demo Fest before, we've changed the voting process a little bit this year. We're no longer having paper ballots, where we used to have papers that you would put in a box for each of the different projects that were going on. This year we're doing it all through the app, and each person can only vote for a particular project once. So you can vote for as many projects as you want, but each individual only gets one vote. You can only vote for one project one time. So I can vote for, there's 80 different projects there. I can cast 80 votes if I felt that all 80 projects were worth voting for. But you can only vote for each particular project once. So that's a change for this year's Demo Fest that you should be aware of if you've been to Demo Fest before. So let's take a look at, I'm just going to make sure that I'm reposting. I see somebody saying that they can't get in because they're trying to get into the other app. So I'm just going to remind people to come here if they want. Okay, we're in. All right, so I mentioned one more thing in the app. I want to show you this social feed that is going on in the app. So you'll notice one thing on the top of my screen here. I've got an 11 in a red box. The 11 is notifications. Anytime someone has, similar to a Facebook or something like that, if there's activity around your profile that you might want to be aware of, it's going to send you a notification. So if I go into that here, I choose that 11, I'm seeing comments that people made to a post that I'm either following or I've written. I'm seeing when people like updates that I've made to the app and things like that. So you can see how people are interacting with you through the app via those notifications, which is very helpful. Let's talk now. I keep talking about all these different updates. Let's look at what it is, how we actually go about creating an update. So I'm going to go into the activity feed. And when I'm in there, you'll see in the upper right-hand corner, I've got an option there with a paper and a pen. That's how you post an update. And similar to any other sort of a social component that you've used in the past, you have the option of you can add photos to this, you can start typing. So I can just type in an update, and I will put in, I can't type and talk at the same time, I apologize. hope if I spelled correctly. And you'll see a couple of things here. Now I could hit the check right now and it will post that as an update to the activity feed, but I have some additional options I want to show you in case, before we do that. You'll see right next to the text there's a camera. I can choose that and it'll give me the option to take a picture. You'll see also on my, right next to the picture taking button, there's a little box. I could choose to access my photos if I wanted to and post a photo by choosing that, taking a picture of an existing thing, or I could just take the picture, which now will add that picture to the update. If I wanted to, I could also post, I could choose to turn on the functionality of posting it to Twitter. When I choose that Twitter bird option, it's giving me now saying Twitter would like to access your Twitter accounts. If I wanted to do that, I would say, okay, on the iOS device, it will automatically pop up saying which Twitter account do you want to do. I got that error message because I canceled out for right now. But it would give you the option to see which Twitter account you want to do if you have more than one, or it would just link it. Same thing with LinkedIn. If I choose LinkedIn, it'll just bring up a pop-up for me to log into LinkedIn so that I can link the app with my LinkedIn account. Keeping in mind, you only have to do this linking once. Once you have the linking there, but the next time you go in and do an update, you just choose any of these options, Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, and it will automatically just have it there. You only have to link it once, and then you can continually cross-post in the app and also Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn very easily. One thing I do want to point out, especially if you're someone who participates on Twitter, and the back channel that goes on Twitter, which I'll talk about in a minute, that when you cross-post something, it doesn't automatically add the hashtag. So if you're looking to participate in the back channel on Twitter, you want to make sure that you're going to be adding the hashtag Devlearn to your post within the app. So if you put hashtag the word Devlearn, when you cross-post it to Twitter, it will participate in the conference back channel there as well. So once you've got everything you want in there, oh, I'm sorry, you also see the I'm at. That's a Foursquare type of a functionality where you can tag the post that you're doing to a particular session, to a particular vendor that you're looking at, to a particular table that you're at DemoFest. So if you're familiar with Foursquare and Swarm, where you can tag a location attached to a post, that's what this is going to do there. So once you've got your options in there, you just hit that check in the upper right-hand corner, and it will post it to the app. Now you'll see here, as soon as I did that, I got an update here that's telling me how many points I got for that, which is going back to that gaming element that I talked about earlier. All the different activity that you do within the app, whether it be posting an update, creating a session, evaluating a session, which I'll show you about in a second, these are all going to generate points. The more active you are within the app, the more points you're going to generate through the app. And if you go into the leaderboard here, you'll also get badges through the app as well. But if I exit here and go back into that leaderboard that I was looking at before, you could see here, just based on where I'm at on the leaderboard, I've got 53 points. We have a lot of different Devlearn merchandise that we're going to have readily available at the swag shop, which will be located in the hub. Different items for different points values. If there's an item, I suggest you check it out, see the different items that are there, what you might be interested in. When you reach a point threshold that gets you to an item that you want to get, visit the swag shop with your device. That will take a look at the points that you have on your device, and will issue you whatever particular reward that you're looking to get from the swag shop, redeeming the points through the app. So it's a great way to get some swag from the swag shop via the activity that you've got going on in the app, and I encourage you to check that out. So that is the app as a whole. If there's any questions related to the app, anything else that I didn't show you within the app that, I want to show you the session evals, which is important, but if there's anything else within the app that I haven't shown you yet, post that in as a question, and I'll be more than happy to show you. But let me show you how to do a session evaluation. We value the feedback that people get. I see Colin posted a comment as a question that he's put together a list of Twitter people to follow. I think I've seen you share that on the back channel, which is a good resource if you want to find out on Twitter who's going to be connecting. So check out the Devlearn hashtag. I'm sure you'll see that there. So one of the things that's important to us is the feedback that we get from people at the conference. It's what helps us make each Devlearn better than the last. We value the feedback that people give us. We read all the comments that you give us, and we encourage you to please give us feedback on all the sessions that you attend. all the feedback that we get is going to be collected via the conference app. So let me show you how to do that. You're going to start within this list, and you're going to go into the agenda at the top. So let's say I wanted to evaluate a session that I attended. I would find it on the list, whichever session it happens to be, and I'm going to find, or you could do it a couple of different ways. You could do it by finding the session in the agenda, or you could also search out the speaker. So let's say I was going to be evaluating a particular morning buzz session. You see here, I can go in and find the details within the session, or I could go in to the speaker. Say I was in the main menu and I say speaker, and I wanted to evaluate a session. Say I want to evaluate Dr. Tyson's keynote. You're going to go in here and you'll see the different sessions that the person is giving at the bottom. So you select the session from there. Now you're not seeing it on this screen here, but at the bottom where it says add to my agenda, you'll also see an option that says start survey. That, similar to what we saw at DemoFest. That's where you're going to be able to evaluate sessions. You're not seeing it on the demo right now because the session evaluation form is not available until the time that the session ends. So looking at what we have here, Dr. Tyson's keynote session ends at 10 a.m. on October 29th. So the session evaluation for Dr. Tyson won't be available in the app until 10 a.m. on October 29th. So once the session time has ended, you can go into the app, find the details, and complete the survey. Completing the survey is very easy. It's 8 simple questions. It takes less than 2 minutes to give us feedback, but it is so valuable to us, and it helps us make sure that we're delivering on the expectations of our audience for Devlearn. So I encourage you to please take a few moments to evaluate the sessions that you attend while you're at the conference. The other thing I want to point out from the gaming standpoint is the highest point generating activity that you can do in the app is completing a session evaluation. So the more sessions you evaluate, the more points you'll be able to generate within the app, and also the more swag you can possibly get. So keep that in mind as well, but please do give us that feedback. So that's basically our app. We get great feedback on the app every single year. This is definitely the best one we've had yet, and we're looking forward to all the social activity that's going on. The app is already active. If you haven't already downloaded it, I encourage you to download it and start connecting with people via the app, via the Backchannel, and connect with people who are going to be coming to the conference. It's a great way to connect with people before you even get there. You have some relationships that have already started, and then it just enhances the connection once you're on site. So great app. Definitely can highlight your conference, give you some enhancements to your conference experience. So let me exit out of this demo here. And Colin, I see you shared that link to the list. I'll be sure to add that to the YouTube comments because this will be available on our YouTube channel. So I'll capture that and put that as a link in there for people who are looking at this recording later on. So let's go back to some of the other features of Devlearn. And I'm just going to check while I'm looking at the screen, make sure that there are no additional comments coming through. None there. None there. Okay, so we're good. Let's go back to our slide deck. So other resources that you're going to have available at Devlearn to get more out of this conference. All the handouts and PowerPoint files and such that are going to be shared at the conference by our conference presenters will be available to you online as a resource, so that you can reference them in advance of the conference for those that are there, and or after the conference to revisit the content. They are available online at devlearn14.com/handouts. I had mentioned earlier that we have the Backchannel going on at Devlearn. The Backchannel is extremely active at Devlearn. We usually are close to trending on Twitter when we have Devlearn going on. It's by far the most active Backchannel for conferences within our industry. Just if you want to follow along or participate in the Backchannel, you want to make sure you're using the hashtag Devlearn, adding that to all of the tweets, and following that hashtag to find out what's going on in the Backchannel. So hashtag Devlearn for the Backchannel at Devlearn this year. Make sure you're looking at that. And I will also, as usual, be curating the Backchannel, looking at all the resources that are shared. So We've already got the Backchannel curated resources post live because the Backchannel is already active. We're already curating it. So if you go to davidkelly.me, you'll find the resource page there, and you'll see by the time the conference is done, we'll probably have well over 200 different resources that can continue the conversations and learning that are taking place at Devlearn. There will be free Wi-Fi available at the conference. When you're at the conference center throughout the conference space, the network that you want to connect to is going to be labeled Devlearn, and it is password protected. The password is going to be Devlearn in all lowercase letters. But there is free Wi-Fi throughout the conference space. We talked about the app. The app is available on Google Play Store, Apple Store, and if you also go to devlearn14.com/app, you can get links to the Play Store and the App Store directly, as well as the web app available there. I did mention you do need to log in the first time you go into the app. Make sure you use the email address that you use to register for the conference. That's a common confusion area for people, that they use their most common email address, not realizing that that's not the email address that they used to register for the conference. So make sure you're using the email address you used to register for the conference and the word Devlearn in all lowercase letters when you're logging in. I also talked about the evaluations. They're extremely important to us, and they are only being completed through the mobile app. We will not have paper evaluations available at the conference. Also want to talk to you a bit about some of the materials that you'll be getting at registration. Within your badge credentials, you'll have a couple of important tickets that you want to make sure you have. First off, we are providing lunch on both Wednesday and Thursday. They're sponsored lunches by Yukon Learning and On Point Digital. Your lunch tickets will be in your badge credentials, so make sure you have those and you present them to redeem for your lunch on Wednesday and Thursday. We also have 2 drink tickets that'll be available for our 2 receptions. We have the welcome reception taking place Wednesday evening, sponsored by Capella University, and we also have drinks available at Demo Fest Thursday evening, and that's sponsored by eLearning. So make sure you have all 4 of these tickets so that you can redeem them at those particular events. Talked about the Expo Hall. Make sure you allocate some time to visit that Expo Hall. It will be available both Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday, the Expo Hall closes at 3 p.m. While you're in the Expo Hall, be sure to play the Expo Passport game. What you do is you take this game card, which will be given to you at registration, and there are a number of booths highlighted on the game card. As you visit the Expo and talk to different vendors, have each of the vendors stamp this card, and once you've got all of the stamps on the card filled out, drop that at the registration desk, and we will be choosing one card as a winner of an iPad mini at the emerging tech stage Thursday afternoon at 2:45. Keep in mind, if you do hand in that card, you do need to be present to win the iPad. Talked about the learning stages. We got over 30 different sessions taking place on the learning stages. All the details for those sessions will be in the app. And if you need any assistance while you're at the conference, look for anyone in one of these stylish blue shirts, and we will be more than happy to help you. There'll be a number of us at the conference, all of us wearing a similar Guild blue shirt like that. We're more than happy to help you with anything that you need, directions, support, whatever you need. We want to make sure that this is the best conference experience for you, so please do utilize us as a resource. And with that, I've reached the end of the stuff that I specifically wanted to talk about. So if anyone has any additional questions, I have a couple of minutes left before I had our hard stop that I gave people at 3 p.m. Eastern. So if you have any additional questions out of things that I haven't covered, anything you want to dive into deeper, or want me to show something new on the app, please do feel free to post that into the chat window or into the Q&A, and I'm more than happy to take a look at it. Let me check while we're looking at that, I'm more than happy to check out the comment section and see if there's anything that came through in these other spaces as well. I don't see anything in the comments. Let me exit over here and see if anything came through on the event page. Nothing there. So it does not look like we have many more questions, if any. No. All right, well, I thank you for, I see we have a number of people participating today. I thank all of you for taking the time to watch this. If you have additional questions, you can reach out to me directly. I'm LND Dave on Twitter. You can reach out to me, David Kelly, on Google+. You can reach out to me via email, or via the Twist blog. We want to make sure that this is the best conference for you. If you have additional questions as the conference approaches, please do reach out to us. I'm more than happy to help you. I want to thank you for watching our Google Hangout today on the Devlearn orientation. We look forward to seeing you in Las Vegas for Devlearn later on this month. Take care, everybody. We'll see you in Vegas.